Hello, everyone who has clicked on the video that came up before your eyes. It's Billy Cultist, back in the jungle on Dreams. And we were finishing up, our jungle's basically done. As you've seen in the previous parts, if you've been following this thing. If you're completely new and this is the first time you've clicked on the jungle, I might suggest going back and starting from part 1, because this might not make a lot of sense. But you know, you're totally free to watch from where you are if you want. We're basically now making a character for the jungle, as I have got the environment in the place where I fully want it. But we are making an Anteater, which, by the way, I'm going to shift over to studio lighting. Oh, I can try to center the imp, and it's, you know, the buttons aren't working like they're supposed to, or maybe they are. My fingers aren't working. Anyway, though, last we left off, we were trying to put some pants on the Anteater, because, you know, he's going to be a anthropomorphized kind of Anteater. And he's going to have pants, and I figure, like, I don't know, like a jacket, or I don't know, something. He's going to have some clothes, sort of. But yeah, we were putting pants on him, and we were working on what we need to do is we got to get a belt on here, so let's just get right to that. I'm going to try to be real focused. I noticed some of these, I'm not super focused. I mean, I'm not promising you anything. I'm probably not going to be necessarily super focused. But I'm going to try to focus a little better so we get more done per video. I don't want to just spend everybody's time, you know, messing around a whole hour, you know. Because these are about an hour. But I mean, we don't want to be pressured. We don't want to be pressured, but we want to have fun. But we also want to get things done, don't we? So that's what we're going to try to do going forward, or at least today. I don't even know about going forward. We're going to make this belt nice and dark here. I don't know, I guess we could make it brown, but I feel like a black belt. Yeah, he's a ninja today. Black belt Anteater. Okay, and we're just gonna kind of stick that in there. Now, anything you see me doing here, really, I'm just going at it in the way I think is best. And it's a way that works, obviously, but don't get the impression from this that this is the only way you could go about this. Like, I'm sure, and this is really true of modeling, especially in Dreams, there's many ways you could approach a problem like adding a belt to a character, you know. You might do it with paint, you might do it in a number of ways, whatever you think is best. It doesn't necessarily have to be like I did it, but I'm doing it the way that I think is best. I think we will try and put some little belt loops on here. Nothing too fancy, we're just gonna give the impression, you know, he's got the belt loops to hold up the belt. Or to, you know, just put some belt loops on them pants! And we'll add some more details to him, his own self. Like, we'll have to add some, you know, we're gonna start, because he's an Anteater, which is a furry creature. We're gonna be wanting, ultimately, to, you know, make him look furry. And what he's at right now, you could say, you know, that's kind of like, stylistically, you could be like, well, he's furry. Another thing you could do in Dreams is there's settings where you could impasto and make the flex come off. It depends on what you're going for, but for me, I think personally on this build, I'm gonna go for my own a sort of style that I tend to prefer, which doesn't involve using the impasto and the flex to create a fur. Now that could be to create a more, if you wanted a more realistic, fluffy looking fur. Think of it like this. There's a game, if you've ever, in the past there was this game called Star Fox Adventures. And that was a Rareware game, and if you look at Fox in that game, he has kind of this funny looking fuzzy fur to him. This funny looking fuzzy fur effect on him. And Dreams can do that if you want that. But for this particular build, I'm not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and... Well, let me see here. Yeah, I think these pants could use a little more... Just a little more work. Perhaps. I think... this isn't necessary, but I think... Not absolutely necessary, but I think I will try to add some... seams... to the pants. I guess down the middle, I'm going to turn the mirror off because I don't think we need... Yeah, just kind of... Put that seam running right down the pants. Hopefully his butt's not too big. I don't think so. Matches his body right here pretty well. Okay. And just have it coming through the front. You don't actually even need to have it all the way perfectly. You can just kind of... It works stylistically if you just kind of like... Just kind of have it see how it's kind of like that. It does. What's that? Okay, yeah, that's Dreams. Also, trying to keep your controller centered sometimes is just a big bear. Okay, so look, yeah. So see, you can stylistically sometimes you can just get away with. You don't have to. You just kind of imply the seams. You don't have to fully have it all the way down or whatever. Just kind of see like that. Now this might be a little bit of an issue when we. Oops, I made a mistake. I should have. For this part, I should have turned the mirror back on because that way we'll not have to do this on the other side. There. But that's like stylistically implied seams there that you've got on the other side. That's nice. How are we doing on thermo here? Because puppets... we're up to 12. I don't remember what we were before. I think we were around 10 or something when we finished the jungle. So we got up by a couple %. Puppets will bump that up a bit. Especially if you're having a more higher detail on all the body parts. But, you know, again, it's all up to how you have to balance that with what your needs are. So, we got their pants. I think I might save a belt buckle for... And we could either put a belt buckle on there right now, or alternatively, I could make a belt buckle and have it as an attached object. I think I might do that, I don't know. Since we don't have a very big scene and we don't have a lot of complex demands, we might be able to afford having our puppet be a little more detailed and complex. So, that's the thing you gotta think about in Dreams, is balancing these things out. Is if your puppet is gonna be really detailed and complex, that's gonna be like more thermo. So you're gonna have to be balancing that and weighing that with how the game, if you're making a game overall, it's like, well, how big and complex, this is all to be balanced. Like, you make a big complex game world, and then you're gonna fill it with these complex puppets, it's gonna blow the thermo through the roof. It's like, you've gotta balance it all out to a nice... I'm just trying to center it. Not trying to pause the game, but trying to center it, but it's... Alright, so, I'm thinking about what I gotta do next. I could go for his pant legs. I might do that just because it bugs my brain to see these little blue things. I might well just go for the pant legs now. Yeah. Let's do it. Anyway, though, like I said, balance. I think I figured out what we're going to do next. Like I said in a previous video, I think that... well, we know Starfield has put this... Everybody's talking about sci-fi space stuff now. Either they're upset with Starfield or not, but it's on everybody's mind, I guess. Or I don't know if it still is. People change their minds so fast in this century, but we'll go ahead and put that there. Well, I think next thing I'll do is I will make a sci-fi space interior. By the way, we could turn off that luminoise on that. I think I may have forgotten to do that. I do that all the time with most things now, unless it's like a natural thing. And you have to do it on both sides. I gotta remember that. I go through there and turn that off. And also, when you do turn off the luminoise, make sure to go into this second part, inner properties or whatever this is, and see this color amount is usually be at 15%, I think. No, 30% by default. Well, bring it down all the way to 0, because that also will have an effect. See, I'll turn off the luminoise, and you'll notice that even though I turned off the luminoise, you still kind of have this weird speckling there. Well, if you take this all the way down, there, you see? You pretty much get rid of that completely. So remember that. That's a trick, I suppose, that you might not know on the face of it. Anyway, gotta go through all these and turn it all off before we go any further with these feet. But anyway, I'm gonna try... Next thing we're gonna be doing after this whole jungle and Anteater thing is complete, I will go in for... We'll do a sci-fi interior for a change. I find I'm doing nature a lot. But, actually, man-made, artificial environments, not nature, can be interesting in dreams, and it presents its own interesting advantages and disadvantages when constructing it. So we'll take a look at that and how I would do that. Just kind of, we'll make a basic, I don't know, like a sci-fi interior layout like you might want to use. And that can also tie in with something that's very popular, or at least seems to be to a lot of people, which is, we'll start getting into these here, horror sci-fi stuff where people, like Alien or whatever, people like to make the game where you're being chased. I actually have kind of done that myself. I got a game on here called Space Pirate, which is fairly old at this point, but that's my own personal sci-fi kind of horror, yeah, I guess. Third-person horror shooter type of thing, kind of. Basically, kind of put this in here. Get those pants. Yeah, see, that looks a lot better there. Now that blue thing is gone, that looks better, doesn't it? Doesn't that look better? Yeah. We might give him a runaround just to... I don't want to waste too much time running around. I know I spend a lot of time doing that. But we do got to keep an eye on how he's looking in motion and everything. Yeah, it's looking good to me. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah! Look at that. Isn't this guy filling out to be one of those real serious type of park rangers, that keep an eye on their wildlife? Yes. Okay. Gonna turn that off play. Anyway, though, yeah, like I said, get this back on. Like I said, though, we'll go for the sci-fi interior on the next, will be the next big thing for me after this jungle's fully done and the Anteater and all that stuff. We ought to put some seams on his pant leg, I guess. Now that's the part where the seams on the pant leg is the kind of part where you can kind of get, messed up by dreams visually a bit. I mean, you gotta kind of not take things too seriously, I guess, in dreams, because it's just not ever gonna be perfect. But you see, when he moves, let me see if I can show you. And this is where you would be deciding how much of this detail you want to put in, how you're going to handle these things. If it really bothers you, I don't guess you can't see it from this distance so well, but when he moves, the seam's going to not line up with the seam on the pants, so that might look a little funky. But, oh, let's go back. Okay. But, yeah, like I said, you got to figure that out for yourself, what you want to do. There's a lot of options. I choose to not take it too seriously. It's just one of those things. But, a lot of workarounds can be found for this stuff. Okay, so... let's see. I don't know if I'm going to actually go to the depth of putting seams on the pockets. That might be a little too much. I may go and put that with paint later, because that's an option for that. Now, we can either go down to the feet and get that, or we can go ahead and... I think let's stick a little bit with the torso, because we're gonna need to add... I'll tell you what we could do too. Pick a shade, get that shade. Okay, so here's another thing I think I'm gonna do. We'll kind of see if we can do this. I don't know how this is going to work out, but try to add just a bit of a muffin top there to it. A little more, you know, anatomical realism and body diversity, or whatever they like to call it. Okay. Yeah, kind of, I don't know. I just kind of think that helps it. And we could put a little fur, like, we gotta start putting some fur on this. Now, how am I gonna do it? I think... Well, we'll try one method that I use sometimes. I'm not sure how this will go with this particular character, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, the sci-fi interior. We'll try doing a sci-fi interior, and I'll actually show you how... My intention would be to show you how it's actually quite simple. Those interiors, I think, might be a little bit daunting to people on the face of it, because it's like with most things, if you take a look at a finished scene, you're like, how did they make that? It's like, it's so incredible. It's like, I don't think I could ever make that. It's like, well, the simple process behind it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. Yeah, this I think might work. This is a way I do fur sometimes. A little bit tedious, so we're going to be... It's also kind of a cartoon approach where we're going to just... We might not go... Yeah, we might just kind of... I think I'll put it more heavily on the back. I gotta also, though, figure out where... If I want to have them have a jacket... just how I'm going to do that. Because... If you're going to do that... I don't know. That can create some issues. But we'll just kind of make some fur around here. We can amend this later. If it's not quite working out in some kind of way. That's the thing you gotta remember too. You can always change things up. Don't have things written in stone. If you need to fix it. By the way though, speaking of silliness, I just realized I think I'm gonna have to go backwards. Okay, thank you, Dreams, for the undo, and I just wasted some extra time with that, but I should have had the mirror on, because that, like, see? That way we can do this on both sides, and we're not going to be wasting more time than we need to. I guess you could manually do it on both sides if you really wanted that very pure variation. You don't want it to look, you know, oh, look, that looks exactly the same on both sides. It's a little weird. Well, you know. Okay, fair enough. Go for it. But that's going to take your time. I'm a little more impatient than that. I can be a patient guy when it comes to this art stuff, but I tell you what, I'm a little more impatient than that. So the mirror tool really will help you with that. Anyway, though, yeah, just kind of putting some fur. And like I said, we're not going to put it strictly everywhere, see? We're just going to kind of put it so that it gives us the impression that he's Shaggy. Not Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, but just, you know, Shaggy like... Shaggy with fur! Okay, so... I was talking about sci-fi, but yeah, we'll go over that, and I'll show you how you can really... Sometimes with interiors, in some ways, they're easier than exteriors, especially if it's a sci-fi one. I might go so far as to say that actually sci-fi stuff could be some of the easiest stuff and some of the best suited stuff, I might add, for Dreams. Because a lot of the tropes of sci-fi, especially like space, is very helpful for Dreams. Like the interiors, you can actually make a pretty dang good looking sci-fi interior with just very minimal sculptures. Not very much, like just some... I'll show you how later. When we get off this, but when we go to the sci-fi thing and when we finish this jungle and Anteater, but I will be showing you how. But it's really quite, you know, you can get a pretty good sci-fi interior with minimal hassle in Dreams, honestly. A lot of the time. Now there's always going to be problems with stuff, but yeah, so I'm putting a lot of Maybe I'm putting a little too much fur on the back there. And also a little too short. Basically, though... Yeah, sci-fi, interior... And it's not just the interiors, it's just a lot of stuff about sci-fi. Like, for example, if you're making characters... This is also true. It's like... Sci-fi, the typical, you know, the archetypical, what would they say? The archetypical sci-fi clothing that characters wear in, like, the space sci-fi is just great for dreams. Because, you know, when you get into, you know, fantasy or other typical stuff, like, you've got this, you know, people are wearing capes, and they're wearing, like, what, you know, they're wearing skirts and gowns, you know, if they're women or whatever, I don't know. And then, you know, they got all this flowing clothing and stuff, and it's... In dreams, that stuff's a nightmare. It's very difficult to arrive at something satisfying, at least for me, when it comes to that. If you have to do, like, flowing clothing, it's just... It's kind of awful. It really... But in sci-fi, everybody's wearing these, like, you know, tight spacesuits. So, you're really in a great spot, because that's really easy to get in dreams, and it looks, you can make it look good pretty easy. It's not difficult. So really, yeah, I would say actually, sci-fi is a great setting for dreams if you are interested to make sci-fi stuff. Great setting to go for in dreams. Okay, I don't know. So that's kind of what we're going to go for with this guy. You know, so you can see what we're doing there. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Jimmy's kind of messing around with stuff. He's shuffling paper in and out. Hopefully that's not interfering too much. Sometimes around this studio, there's a lot of... I might do this too, like what I'm doing here, just to add some more texture. Kind of... You don't have to do this. But anyway... Yeah, basically, sometimes in this studio, it's very difficult. You know what? Maybe we're far enough in. This is a good portion. I gotta remember, because Marty often wants this to be shouted out. We EDC people are not the best at marketing, frankly. We are just not, I don't know, you know, that business kind of sense where you're like, you got that public, you know what I mean? That's basically how these other people get rich. They really have nothing to offer, but they're just very good at marketing. So, you know, they get rich. And people who actually have something, they're actually got something of value, are not getting any kind of, you know, remuneration for that, because we, you know, it's just at the end of the day, we're just not great marketers. But in the spirit of, you know, remembering what to do, what Marty wanted, I'm gonna now take a moment to say, if you made it this far through this somewhat tedious experience as it can be, I would suggest that you subscribe, like the video. You know, and if you're a long-time subscriber, you know, consider going over and giving some support on our coffee, which there's a link to that in the description. There's also a link to a print-on-demand thing in the description, which you could visit if you were interested in that too. If you wanted to somehow, you know, get something back for your money that was more physical, I guess. But, yeah, you could head over to coffee. We have tiers for monthly membership that you can get into. There's a bronze tier or something like that over there. And actually, we'll put on screen right now, why not, the credits for our current monthly supporters. They will come up on screen right now. And yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to be, you know, Elon Musk or some kind of multi-millionaire who just loves EDC content, and you've been waiting for a way to help out. Well, over there at the coffee, there's a special tier just for you. I suggest you check that out. But you don't have to. But I would suggest it if you're here. Anyway, though, even if you're not gonna go support us monetarily, that's also understandable because we know what it's like. Not everybody's loaded with money, and you know what I mean? We do want you to just be able to have a good time and learn something without having to be loaded with cash. So how have we done on this? That's kind of the deal. I mean, basically right there. What are we doing here? We're still good. All right, so that's... I can go... Now that I'm at this point, I'm not sure about this jacket. I was kind of originally considering to do like a vest jacket, but I'm not... I guess what I would do, because we got to deal with this connection here on the torso. And that's going to be a problem when he moves, because if you have part of the jacket off down here, then you're going to have trouble whenever the top moves, and it's going to, the jacket's going to basically tear, so we don't want that I don't want that anyway. I don't know. Some people might be fine with it, but it's up to you. But I particularly don't want that, so I got to figure out a way of... I don't know. We got to see how to deal with this. I guess we can go ahead and take a look and try and test it out first. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. So let's see what we can do here. Although, I don't know. Maybe I'll just skip the jacket. I'm getting tempted to skip the jacket, honestly, because problems it's presenting. And also, I don't know if it would hurt the look to not have a jacket. We could go for a more wild... Oh, come on, I'm just trying to center it. A wild Rambo kind of look. With no jacket. Yeah, I don't know. I know one thing, though. I gotta get this... I didn't turn off the luminoids on this arm. Turn off all luminoids? What did it say if I got all the luminoids off everywhere here? Oh, nope. This forearm. Get it all off? Well, I turned down the thing on that, but I didn't turn off the luminoids. I think I did the head fully. Yeah, I did. Alright. Well, we could add a tail. That's something. That is something that an Anteater needs, to be honest. I think Marty said somebody commented something about that. I'm not sure. I forget, but... we could definitely add a tail. That's going to have to be a new sculpt, so... we can expect the thermo to maybe... rise a little bit if we add a tail. Okay, but we will have to... I think we will have to add a tail, so... let's go for it right now, shall we? What happened to my controls? Okay. Okay. I don't think we need V-Rod. Well, wait a minute. Maybe we do. Yeah, we don't even have to... okay, let's try and make sure we got it. Okay, that's good. Alright, it's time. So, Anteater tail... just gotta mess with the idiosyncrasies of the mirror, but as I would understand an Anteater's tail, it's very large at the end, and it kind of hangs down, but it's kind of like that. Don't worry, we're gonna be, this isn't, the end of it, of course, but we're gonna be altering it. Okay. And also, don't worry about the turbo, because we'll probably be reducing detail and all that necessary stuff. So let us see. I believe we're going to have to shave some stuff off of this. Smooth it a little bit there. Yeah. Do this. And, yeah, a little of that. And then I think what we'll just add some, kind of like we did with him, we'll put some of that hairy detail on there. Shaggy detail. Yeah. Not too thin? Okay. Yeah, and we'll just start kind of adding that. You just kind of got to work on it. And yeah, like I said, we're probably going to end up reducing detail on this in a second. Yeah, and make some of it stick off kind of low, you know, like it's being gravity. But I think if I'm remembering my Anteaters correctly, they do have like a big... Actually, it's probably bigger and fluffier even than this, but, you know, I'm not going for the absolute, you know... This is not like the scientific absolute reality. This is just... This is just the Anteater in the jungle. Just being himself. Yeah, see, like so. This is a part that could get real tedious. And by the way, if you think this is tedious, you gotta try watching Jimmy try to put skin details on Godzilla. Fun times. Anyway. Yeah, that's about right there. I might put another row right up here, but we will end up reducing the detail because this is putting our thermo up higher than we want it, and we don't need it that high. Especially since we've already got... Yeah, when you make these animals and stuff, that's gonna double up the complexity of your... We might want to put some on the bottom there, though. That's looking a little weird. The complexity of your puppet's going up, you know? Because you have to add another sculpt for the tail. Cool thing about... Wait a minute, I forget. Do Anteaters have little ears? Maybe they do. Then we'll have to add those too. Well, wait a minute, those can just be part of the sculpt, maybe. We might get away with that. Anyway, though... We do have to reduce this. Yeah. And we don't have to have it... It's fur, so we don't have to have it real... I do want to put this on, though. You match everything else here. Might shrink it down just a bit. I mean, I know Anteaters have big tails, but we don't want to overpower the puppet with it. Okay, so yeah, we'll just stick it... We're gonna have to attach it, of course. I forget, because I haven't done puppets for a while. We gotta be careful when we do this, like when we're attaching everything. We gotta be careful that we got our settings. Hey, Jimmy, isn't it true you want this... You'd want it on not collidable, right?
What?
The tail.
Oh, yes, you do.
But we can still attach a bolt, because we're gonna need to do that.
Oh, yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Basically, if your thing doesn't require any physics or collision with other objects, it's best to make it non-collidable.
Should we put a label on it?
No.
No labels.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary! Okay, let's see. So we got that. We gotta put it inside his torso. Or wait a minute, maybe we don't want to put it inside his torso. We just want to put it inside him. Because if it goes inside his pelvis, it's gonna move weird. We want it to be able to... Nope. Back up. Okay, so wait. I'm gonna grab it. Go in once. So now it's inside the puppet, but it's only outside. So now it should be fine, right, Jimmy? If I just put a bolt... Bolts is kind of a creepy thing. I would put the bolt on the pelvis. This can be a problem sometimes. It put the bolt... And like I said, I haven't done puppets in a while. I had been doing puppets more in the past, but we want to kind of... I know we want to kind of arrange it. Make sure you got it. Oh, we're also going to have to turn this on. X-ray, so we can see these things. But make sure you put your, like the purple bit, you want to put that right at the point where your rotation's going to happen. And try to line these up as best as possible. So they don't have to be absolutely perfect, but... To be honest, this looks off-center. Nope. We're already, Oh, we already... Okay. I'm gonna go back. Okay. Maybe it's not such a bad thing that it's off-center. Well... I don't know. It's not too far off-center. We could fix it, though. Let's not be lazy this time, Billy. Let's just do the right thing. History! We're gonna be on the right side of history. We're gonna be the guys who made the Anteater's tail the right way. Okay. So let's pull this thing up in there. Yeah. I always find that right side of history thing. I'm not going to get too deep into this because I know this could go in places where everybody starts throwing up and freaking out. But, and I don't want to be, political or whatever on this channel. But I always find it funny that the right side of history thing where people are like, we're going to be on the right side of history. It's like, well, doesn't that kind of depend on who's writing the history? Because it's like... I mean, whoever wins the conflict or whatever's going on at the time, because it's like, if the guys that you don't like win, then you're going to be on the wrong side of history, because in all their books and stuff, they're going to say, those guys were stupid, those guys were the idiot, the failures, the losers, whatever, I don't know. Or the evil ones, I don't know. So it's like, well, how do you know you're going to be on the right side of history? Like, you're pretty dang certain that you're gonna win this, I guess. I just always found that funny. And a little bit incomprehensible. Anyway, though. There we go. I don't know how this is gonna go, though. I know... Jimmy, don't we want to turn up the springiness and stuff to max on that? Or maybe we don't. Because we do want... I think I want this tail to kind of bounce around a little. I don't know, we might play with this stuff. Maybe we want the springiness up and the tightness down. I don't know, I forget. Like I said, it's been a while since we'll run around and see what happens with it. It has been a while since I did a puppet, especially... Okay, so we got a little swivel to the tail there. That was what I wanted. Yes! Okay. I think we're actually in a fine position with that. If we wanted it to be more floppy, there's settings we could change in that bolt. Like, we could change... But for me, it's... pretty good. We could reduce the tightness, basically would. I might just do that, though, just so we can see it. Because it's maybe a better learning experience, I guess. Just so we can see it happening. You know, reduce the, I think I'll reduce the tightness down to like 40%. Let's see what happens now. By the way, just... well, maybe I don't want to do that. I was going to turn off the bolt visibility, but since we're working with them, we might... yeah! Actually, it doesn't seem to be doing all that different. Maybe it's the springiness. Let's play with that. Let's see what that does. Reduce the springiness. The springiness is, as I understand it, it's how quickly or how strongly or quickly, something like that, the joint will snap back to its base position. So if you have a lower springiness, it'll take more time to reset itself. If I'm right. We may have some settings not quite right on our tail anyway, I don't know. Let's take the springiness way down and the tightness way down and see what happens to it. You never know what you're gonna get. Okay, yeah, see? But now you see how you're getting all that... it's really wobbly. But I don't know, it really depends on, do we want that? Do we like it that way? It does seem a little... when it's that way, it's a little more fluffy, you know, like light seeming. So maybe we want that. Yeah, I kind of like the bounce. I kind of like it a little better when it's like that. We might just leave it like that. I don't know, what do you think? Say something in the comments about it. What do you think? You think this tail's in a good spot? You like it better when it's stiffer, or you think it's better when it's like this? Oh man, I tell you what. I have seen people do like full-on clothing using all like a whole bunch of bolts and stuff. Like they did like a dress or something, you know, like on an anime girl or something. And it was just like tons of bolts to make it. And you know, it did make it bouncy, but good lord, I'll tell you, bolts and stuff, those will run up your thermo. Gotta be careful. How we doing? Speaking of, 10%, 12%. Okay, we're okay. Anyway, though, that's that with the tail. We got that set up. And now it's just more modeling. So, gotta focus in. We can go for the legs, or we can go up. I'm still not 100% on this. I don't know. Let's go for the neck. How about that? I'm not 100% on this. Put some fur on the neck. Oh, nice. Already set up. But, like, I'm not 100% on this thing with what we're going to do about a jacket, or if there's going to be a jacket. Not sure his structure is quite up for that. But let's just get some fur on this. Anteaters are pretty fluffy beasts from what I can remember, but we gotta watch it. Gotta be careful that we're not... I think we can turn that off with the... Yeah, there we go. Okay, here we go. Okay. See, we got... And this is the thing you gotta watch. See how... Now, if you turn this setting off, this is probably not gonna be as big a deal. But they got the whole... Where your controller motion sensor thing, where if you look... Let's like, see how he's now looking up and how his neck shifts and everything? That you want to be careful of, because see how his neck is shifting when I'm putting him down? And you now the fur is, you know, not there or whatever. You want to model the puppet such that that is not going to be a problem if you want the motion movement thing to be hot. Now, if you turn off the motion movement thing, that's probably not going to be an issue for you, because you're not going to be able to do that. However, in this case, for the sake of educational value, I think I might well go ahead and... Oh, we'll turn this off too so we can see that. So see the joint? What we got to do is we got to make sure we put some fur down there. That way when he turns his head down, you'll still get the kind of bushy fur stuff. Something to remember, especially if you're going to have that kind of movement dynamics and all that stuff. Not so much on the front, we won't put any, but let's give it a test here, see how that moves! Okay, see? You see what I'm saying? See that? Now when that pops up, you still got fur. It doesn't look like a, you know, a completely smooth sphere when he bends like that. This whole bending thing, you know, could really bother some people. I would understand it. And I can understand that, you know, sometimes it's like I said this before, I said the fact that all dreams puppets, basically you can't really fully get past the fact that they're just like a marionette. And they've got these visible joints, and some things, no matter how hard you try, you can do amazing things to hide it, but some things just don't go away in dreams. It's like, you just have to accept it. That's one of the downsides, you know, to the puppets in dreams, but, you know, if you're doing something cartoon-like and, you know, a little more fun and charming or whatever, it's okay. It really gets, you know, it gets to be a big problem if you're trying to be one of these more realistic type of, you know, things. Or maybe not, you know, sometimes if you, like, say if you were trying to, I could see this being a problem if you're, I'm not really, like, into the anime type thing, but I could see this actually being a problem if you were doing that kind of thing. If you were trying to do, like, the anime style. Because they don't, you know... It's just, you know, having all these weird joints all over your anime character, I wouldn't think that would be a benefit to that style either. Any more than it would to really hyper-realism or... I don't know why you said hyper-realism. Frankly, that's something I don't understand. Hyper-realism. I hear this term. People say this is hyper-realism when... Grammatically, that makes no sense. It's like you cannot... It's like hyper is like more. I believe. It's like above and beyond. So it's above and beyond realism? So it's more real than real? Does that make any sense? And if it is more real than real, how would you know? Because all we ever see in life is real. We don't see more real than real, do we? Anyway, let's pause this and get back to what we're doing. I guess we could go for the head. That's something we can go for because, like I said, I'm still deliberating in my mind what I'm going to do about this. Whether I want a jacket or how I'm going to do that, whatever. Maybe put some suggestions in the comments for that. That might be a good idea. See what, you know, should I put like a little jacket on him, or maybe we should just not do that. Just go with the more easier route. Anyway, though, we can do the head, that's for sure. We got, okay. Now, Anteaters, I might put some cheeks. Also, I can turn this off now. Although, the mouth's going to be way down there, but I don't know, just for the, you know, some cheeks. We'll also have to put some eyes, and I believe I'm going to go for the the method where they are not. We're going to make new sculpts for the eyes. So just kind of put that up there. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Actually, he's not that complicated. Let's go... Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Alright, just to be safe, I'm going to do it out here, that way. Now, first thing we'll do is... We'll assume we want little eyelids for him. Turn off the mirror. Half. This is what I do to get my basic, easy eyelids. Kinda. You know, actually, we're gonna need... I think we're gonna need one more thing on this. I'm gonna put, like, a thing like this. Okay. Because we're gonna kind of need this. You'll see why. Yeah, okay, so now we'll go back to what we were doing with that eyelids thing. Okay. Okay. Here we go. It actually isn't really necessary to line that up in any respect. But we just make a half. It's as easy as that. Let's see, where are we at? Okay. We just make a half circle there. Or a sphere, actually. And we'll leave that right there for now. We gotta make the actual eye. So... I thought about making him have human eyes just because of the cartoon aspect. But then I don't know. I kind of... Maybe little shiny black eyes like they really have might be kind of funny. Let's see about that. Okay, so we got just a sphere. This is going to be pretty simple, actually. We'll just put a sphere right in there. And I'll turn this off just so we can see more. We're gonna go with what? Shiny metal might work real well. Yeah, that's good. Another thing we're gonna do, make these non-collidable. I'm gonna get these set up right now with that, so that we don't, because we're gonna be cloning them out. So actually, another thing you might, well, we don't have to worry about that yet, but so we got the eye right there. I'll kind of arrange that a little more. Let's see what we got. We're still on good with the thermo, but I will just to be conscientious, we'll reduce these. They don't need to be that intense right there, so let's also turn off luminoise. I don't think luminoise is going to affect the actual eyeball because it's just solid black and shiny metal, so duplicate that or clone it. And we'll just line that up in there sort of like that. Yeah, we might need to shrink this down just a bit. But there's your simple eye. And in a pinch, you could hook like joints up to that and make it so that the lids open and close. Or alternatively, you don't need to do that. You can just do like keyframe animations with it, like, you know, there it's open and there it's closed. See? I'm not sure if I'll go that far in this particular creation thing here. as to make that stuff. Anyway, though, let's see here. Now that we got all that... Oh, something to remember. You might want to do... I don't know. I don't think I'll actually do this, but if you're gonna... Live clone can make it easier if you're gonna make edits after the fact of cloning, because that way it'll happen on both sides, you know? But I don't think I'm personally gonna do that. What I would personally end up doing is I would just get my one eye the way the eyes need to be, and then I would duplicate... Well, here, actually... What I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna... Oop. Scale this down a bit. Now we gotta clone it. I'm gonna clone it, and then I'm gonna flip it. Then I'm gonna take... Well, actually, we don't need that. We'll just grab it. Move it over into the other socket there. Oh no, you know what I just realized? Again, I did the silliness. I did not turn on the mirror, so we don't have our... this part. Which I don't know if we actually need so bad, now that I look at it. But we'll do it just because of consistency. We gotta have... So I'm just gonna do this in a real goofy way, not really precise or anything. We're just gonna... eyeball it. How appropriate! We're gonna eyeball it. We're working on the eyes and we're gonna eyeball it. Ah! There it is. Anyway, though, there's his eyes. However, they are not... I think I will group these together. Wait a minute. Well, we'll see if this could cause problems later, but... We'll take a look at it just to be sure. I'm going to group those together, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab that and in. Okay, that's the head. Put them inside the head. Or actually, wait, take that out. Make sure they're in the same level. Grouping in dreams, especially in puppets, can be a nasty deal. Okay, so... let's give them a test and see if something happens weird. You gotta watch it. Like, see if the eyes are actually... They seem to be okay. They're staying with his head. There's nothing really bizarre happening. Yeah, seems fine to me. Yeah, okay. I think our eyes are fine. Now, what else could we do with them? Let's see. Let's see. What else could we do with this guy? Oh, my brain is mush. Why? Okay. We could add a little more details to his head. Also, we could add some eyebrows. I think we'll add a little detail to his head here. Because that's something I could do without thinking too hard. My brain, folks, it's turned mushy on me. Turned mushy. Here we go. Yeah, basically, we're just gonna do kind of the same thing. What we did, except I'm gonna try to keep it a little more subtle because the head, I don't want to overpower it with the fur or the hair effect or whatever. Yeah, we want to keep it nice and subtle. Also, though, we will want this on. I forgot this because the shadows are too dark. I can't see what I'm doing. Put some there on the end of the cheeks there. Also, got this going on. Gotta remember that. Because when he turns his head, you know what I talked about before. Let's see. Yeah. Get a little bit of that. I don't know how that looks. All right. Yeah, so let's us looking like an anteater more and more. We're looking like an anteater for real, and we're getting things looking quite nice. So we're gonna have to call it off here though, because I am at the end of my time for this session. We're gonna have to come back again in the next part and just keep building this guy. And hopefully it's been, you know, maybe a learning experience or fun in some format. I do enjoy these things, and if you have, you know, suggestions or comments, definitely leave them down below. Also, definitely, if you made it this far, leave a like, or subscribe if you haven't already done that to us. If you're a long-time subscriber, of course, there's ways to support us, which we deeply appreciate. Like, you could go over to the coffee, which is linked in the description, and you could donate, or you could become a monthly member in some form, you know, if you want to do that. Or alternatively, if you're one of those people that feels like you'd like to get some kind of physical thing in return for, you know, your spending or whatever, you could go over to the Art Pal, which is linked in the description, you know, and maybe check that out. Maybe there'd be something you'd want to get. But either way, I really hope you had a good time, and hope you'll come back for the next one. We continue working on this guy and get him all the way to where we need him to be. Yeah. So, it's been Billy Cultist. Bye-bye.